Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirit. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. Thank you for tuning in for another action-packed show this week, as in this week's episode I'm joined by my co-host Kristina Bloom, and together we're going to be discussing the topic of portals, vortexes and ley lines. Also in this week's show there's a channeling from spirit, which sees myself becoming that vessel for spirit to bring their wisdom and communications through. And then later on in the show we have this week's energy forecast reading, which will hopefully help you navigate your way through the twists and turns of this week ahead. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce my co-host Kristina Bloom. Are you there, and how are you doing?
I'm here. I'm doing very well. Had a nice relaxing holiday away for a couple of weeks in the mountains. It was beautiful.
Oh, that is excellent. I'm glad you're doing well. I did see a few of your pictures there on social media, and I was a tiny bit jealous, to be honest, I'm thinking, wow, look at those blue skies. Look at that vast nature. It looked gorgeous.
Yeah, it's the Adirondack Mountains along the East Coast are just stunningly beautiful. Of course, I think all mountains are beautiful. I'm just naturally drawn to those for some reason, energetically. Very good.
Well, you sound very chilled out, man. So I'm sure your holiday really did the magic on you.
Yes, relaxed and ready to go.
Excellent. So as I say, we're going to be discussing the topic today of portals, vortexes and ley lines. So I'm going to throw it over to you, as I always do. I like to throw you under the bus first, Kristina. So
I appreciate that. I tell people all the time I throw myself under the bus on the daily, so it's all good.
Brilliant.
It's all good.
So
vortexes and portals fascinate me,
yeah.
And I remember, I don't even know how long ago, it was a while ago, I was traveling west by myself through Wyoming, and I realized that in England you're probably going to have to look up a map to even figure out where Wyoming is. But it's most centrally located in the United States, and it's a huge state. And there's the Big Sky mountain range there, and on top of there is something called Medicine Mountain. And there is a huge, I think it's like 150 feet in diameter, and it's a medicine wheel, a Native American medicine wheel made of stone. And I don't think we have enough time for me to explain what all that means, but Native American people can put like prayer ties on the fence around it and whatever. And I had always wanted to go there, so I was on a solo trip and I stopped there, and the last mile you have to hike up the mountain. So
okay.
I was hiking up this mountain. Now, this is at 10,000 feet, okay? So I don't know what that translates into for you as far as meters go, but it's way up there. It's a very high mountain range. And I put on my prayer ties, I talked, I had a very intense spiritual experience, and then I followed the trail to go for a walk. And when I walked through this particular part, I was transformed into a completely time-space dimension.
Wow.
Everything looked different.
Okay. Everything
I had just left was gone. I couldn't see it when I was in that space. It felt different. It felt, I guess, ancient is the best way that I can experience it. I saw like thatch roof huts off in the distance that I had not seen before I walked through that gate, Stargate, portal, whatever that was.
Oh, wow.
It felt like I was still on Earth, but in a very different time and space.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, it was.
Of
course, it's me. I tested it, right?
Did you see any other individuals there?
I was the only person there at that time.
Wow.
It was toward the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a public place. People can go there. There's no cost to it or anything. You can go there. I just happened to be the only person on the top of a mountain. And I think that is the only time in my life I have been away from the noise of humans.
Yeah.
And it was transforming.
Wow, that's amazing. I love the fact that you picked up on the feeling. It felt ancient, and you saw different, did you say thatched roofed houses or buildings?
Yeah, like small huts.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
It was interesting.
Have you gone back there again to investigate it since?
I have not, but I will do it again. Being on top of a mountain alone had never been on my bucket list, but it really should have been.
Yeah, wow. That is incredible. That's incredible. If I can share an experience I had with, I would call it a vortex, an energy point entering or exiting the earth. I've had several encounters of these. I've been to some of the ancient stone circles, a couple of the famous ones, such as Aylesbury Stone Circle in the UK there. And what I did feel, I like to, if I can, I like to touch the stones. And I did a bit of psychometry on this one stone. And I was aware that it felt like like the feeling you get when you're channeling and your essence leaves your body. I got that feeling just by placing my hand onto one of these stones there. And I also got this feeling that I was on an energetic level in communication, a non-verbal communication with an alien being, a higher being there. All I could feel from that experience, I would say, was purest of love, the purest of love. And I know that it wasn't a human that was bringing that forward. And that was just by placing my hand on one of these stones in Aylesbury Stone Circle. And for anybody that's ever been there, it's quite peculiar because the circle is kind of divided in half by a main road. So you've got cars driving through the middle of it, and you have to cross the road to go and experience the other half of the circle. Obviously, it wasn't originally like that. But, with the advancement of automobiles, needs must. But it didn't affect the energy within that circle, which was interesting.
Interesting. You keep adding things to my bucket list.
Well, when you come over, I will take you. How's that?
Awesome. You better plan on a couple of weeks to be my tour guide, because there's a lot of stuff I want to see.
I don't mind being your Sherpa.
Excellent. Because I can't drive on that side of the road. I'm not trained for that.
I'm the exact same because you drive on the right, don't you? Over there.
Yes.
With the left, yeah. I would be absolutely a bag of nerves driving on the right-hand side.
Likewise. But that's okay, because when you come here to visit, I'll be your chauffeur.
Excellent stuff. So yeah, that was my encounter with one of the vortexes. I mean, have you had any encounters with vortexes? Energy points within the earth.
Oh yes, several. I've actually created vortexes.
Oh,
one of my children was very sick when he was little, and we didn't know what was wrong with him. The doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with him, and I just kind of placed him in what felt like a spiritual part of the house, like a high energy part. It was near my altar and all of that. And I just asked my spirit guides to teach me how to create a healing vortex for my son to sleep in.
Wow.
And yeah, it helped. Helped a lot, actually.
Obviously, you're not going to divulge that information on radio. People will have to come and sit in one of your classes to get that level of wisdom from you. But
yeah, I don't think we have time for me to actually divulge all of that.
Yeah, that is incredible. So did you close that down afterwards, after the usage?
I did, yes.
Excellent.
I didn't want to leave an open vortex in the middle of a house.
Yeah.
You know, it just seemed like that was kind of a risky thing to do. So yes, when he was better, I closed it back down again.
And what was your son's feedback on that? Was he aware that you was doing that?
I think he was. If I ask him now, 20 years later, he doesn't really remember that specifically.
Yeah.
But he does remember sleeping in that. It wasn't in his bedroom, so he remembers sleeping in the living room near my altar. But he doesn't remember really more than that.
Wow. But he did come through. He came through the other side, better health-wise. Fantastic. Yes, he did. Incredible.
Yeah, very grateful for that.
As I was saying to you, I was teasing you off air about portals, and I says, I've just had an encounter last month around my birthday. If you're okay with me sharing this with you, it's quite peculiar.
Yes, please.
So basically, as you probably know, in my house, I've got a studio. And so I was walking in there. I have to walk through the studio to get to the kitchen. As I was walking through, I noticed I've got a radiator near the wall there. And I noticed, I would describe it as a kite shape, or if you imagine a tent, the traditional tent flaps that you will see, like the opening on the door. I saw one of those appear in midair, I would say about 2.5 feet off the ground at an angle, a triangular shape, and it was almost as if someone had unzipped the front of the tent. And I saw this with my physical eyes. It was light grey in colour. I could see through it, but it was almost solid mass, if you know what I mean, and it looked like a tent flap. Anyway, I saw it slightly open. I couldn't see anything in there other than a darker colour. And the next minute, because I was stood in front of it, I wasn't expecting this, I felt as if I was standing in a wind tunnel. And there was no windows open in the property. And all of a sudden, I felt this mass of a jet of air coming from that area. And it filled up all of this room, the studio, went into my living room as well. And the next minute, I just felt, when you get the feeling there's lots of spirit around, that tingling feeling, I was getting those chills. It felt good. It was good energy. And that, what I was describing, that portal that opened up midair, suddenly disappeared into nothingness. And then all of that energy in the room calmed down and sat back to normal. But it was weird that I got this gust of air that just came from nowhere, from this like triangle that I just seen appear near the side of my room. It's quite something else. I've never encountered that level to that degree before.
Wow. I just realized I'm sitting here with my mouth hanging open. Nobody can see my facial expressions. But was the air warm or cool or room temperature?
I would say it wasn't hot, it wasn't cold. I would say cool is probably a good description there. Like room just slightly above, as if someone was to blow like a breath of air onto you. That it was like that. I didn't hear it, but I felt it. You could feel this gust of air coming from that direction, and it happened really quick. And it kind of caught me off guard, and maybe that was the intention. If I was to overthink it, I wouldn't have had that encounter in that level,
Right. So have you had any lingering experiences in your home after that?
Spirit-wise, there was more sort of sensitivity. As you know, I work from home, and so with working with clients, I was aware that there was, I would say that connection with spirit was more sharper. It went from, if we can use, day-to-day language, it went from a 3D or a 3G internet connection to a 5G in terms of connecting with spirit, if you understand. So yeah, it was very subtle.
Incredible.
It was just weird. I tell you what it reminds me of now, thinking back. Do you remember the TV show called Quantum Leap?
Oh, yes, one of my favorites.
Yeah, they had something that popped up in midair. I think, was it Ziggy? He'd pop up in midair and he'd come out of this flap. It was a little bit like
yes.
that. But I would say it was about...
Okay.
I would say this triangle was on its side, and I would say it was probably 3 feet long by about 2 foot wide at a diagonal. It was really strange.
And it just appeared right there in your home.
Right in front of me, in front of the radiator. And this was daylight hours, not even nighttime hours. And I think I was moving from one room to the other, and I had lots of washing to dry on the radiators. And so I was carrying this wash basket. I wasn't paying attention until I saw this triangle appear in midair. It was so weird.
That would have gotten my attention too, I have to say. That would...
So I put the washing...
definitely have gotten my attention too. I mean, I've seen, random spirits walking through, and some of them walk through me, and it's a bit of a chill kind of a thing.
Yeah,
but
nice.
I don't believe I've ever seen just a random vortex or portal or whatever it is that you're calling it appear like that. That's incredible.
It was. I've seen one before, but not as detailed as that. And this one was in my bedroom, the other one. And I would say, if you imagine a clam and you see how it opens up, I just saw one that was like 6 foot, and it almost looked like when you open curtains, stage curtains, but it was like clam shape. And I saw like it was white, grey colour, and this was less than probably 2 seconds, and then it went. So I've seen that. That was probably 1.5 years ago, but to have a recent encounter such as this one, it was very peculiar.
Wow, that's interesting.
So
that's incredible.
What about yourself? Shall we talk about ley lines as well? Shall we talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about ley lines. I really don't know a lot about ley lines. I do know that when ley lines cross, you get like a spike in energy there. That I do know. And I know that if I step on one, I feel it. It's like stepping on a live wire for me. Like, I don't know if you've ever touched a live electrical wire and you get that kind of a zing that kind of goes through. I don't know how else to explain that.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I've touched a cattle fence, an electric one, in my youth, so I understand.
Oh, you understand?
Yes.
It's kind of like that. It's not as strong as like touching a cattle fence, because that can just kind of shock you where you can't let go of it. This is more subtle, but it was still that kind of a zing of electricity. I know that there are some places near where I live here in the Midwest U.S. where there are ley lines that cross, and it has to do with the limestone and the rivers.
That's interesting.
All of that. Yeah, I wish I knew more about it. I mean, if I took the time to study it, I'm sure I would know more about it. But every once in a while, I can feel it. There's a place in Wisconsin actually called Wisconsin Dells. It's limestone rock ridges with rivers, and there's a lot of that sort of ley line energy in that area.
Nice one. Have you ever worked with dowsing rods? The copper rods?
Yes.
Because they're brilliant for picking up that energy there, and obviously water sources as well, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah. They also pick up energy from us. And that's how I teach people how to gauge where their own energy field is. That I use those, and I have them start, I don't know, maybe 10 meters away from me and start walking towards me. And when those things cross that's when their energy field has touched the dowsing rods. The dowsing rods cross, and they're usually quite a ways away from me when that happens. So I teach people how to pull in their energy and expand it and manage it by showing them where their energy field stops.
That's a beautiful way of using them, isn't it? Definitely.
Yes.
And obviously you can...
Very empowering.
Yeah, you can pick up spirit with them as well, can't you? And follow the energy trails of spirit by using them on that same principle. Yeah, beautiful. My experience of ley lines have been quite unusual. As you may know, that a lot of churches and religious buildings, or buildings that are very powerful in nature, have been built purposely on ley lines to obviously add to that power grid that goes around the world, and also to subtract energy from that power grid as well. From what my guides have told me, it's like the World Wide Web before we even had the World Wide Web, but in terms of energy, how we link to other civilizations by this sort of energy that connects us all. As you've said there, with feeling that zingy feeling, it reminds me of birds that are migrating. You know, they say that they use the magnetic forces of the earth, and you know, are they picking up on that zingy feeling to take them? If they get an intense zingy feeling to the left, does that mean I've got to turn left in a minute? You know, who knows how it works?
I don't remember ever being a bird, but I can imagine they do feel things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got some sort of radar that helps them.
Definitely. I bet you've been called to do this by your guides, where I feel magnetically drawn to a location. This could be a city, a town, a village. You have no purpose in being there. You don't know why you're being sent there. It's almost as if you remember that old TV show, Highway to Heaven, with Michael Landon. It's like that. He heard the calling and he just listened and went. I've experienced this a few times where I just get this feeling to go to places. And like I say, I have no reason to be there. And my guides have put me there in order to reconnect some of the ley lines that have been disturbed energetically. And they've said that I had to walk around that location in order to channel through, unknowing to me at the time, they tell me after the event, channel through those healing codes and those light codes to be sent back into those ley lines so that they can be fluid again. Have you experienced that before, Kristina?
I have. Sometimes I will go there wherever it is that I'm drawn to. I will walk around for however long I feel like I'm supposed to walk around, and I leave and I don't even know why until, like you said, afterwards. Then they tell me what I was doing. But it's really a matter of being able to open up enough to listen to that guidance.
Definitely. It's like a feeling, isn't it, that you can't shake off, and it won't leave until you've done that task that's been required of you. That's
absolutely. And usually when I get to that point, I'll just randomly find myself sitting down and meditating and not really even knowing why I'm doing it, except that that's where I'm supposed to be at that moment.
Adding your vibes to that location.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. It's an interesting feeling.
Yeah, it's something else, isn't it? And it's interesting how you've experienced with your guides not telling you why you had to be there till after the event, as well as myself there. I suppose analysing it, if they were to say, we're sending you there because you've got to mend these ley lines, you'd be like, what? What? I've got things to do this weekend. I'm not doing that.
I would be like, yeah, let me schedule that in next Thursday.
Yeah, but obviously they keep putting those feelings on you until you listen, and then those feelings, move away from you once you've done your task there. So
yes, exactly.
Portals. Let's go back to portals. Have you got, or do you utilize portals in your home?
I'm not in the home I'm currently in.
Okay.
There was one, but it seemed connected to one of my neighbors. I live in a row house, so I'm connected to my neighbors, but with walls. And So I kind of just went, all right, not here, guys. Let's go outside somewhere.
Yeah.
But there have been other places that I've lived where I have had portals in my home, and I have been called to other people's homes to find out why they were having so much spirit activity, just to find open portals in their homes that the people living there didn't know about.
Oh, that's very interesting. I like the way that you micromanage your portals, that there's none in your home at the moment. Obviously, you've got to live there. Your neighbours have got to live there as well. So I like how you've set those boundaries there. But interesting you should mention about you being called to other people's homes. Can you expand a little bit on that upon entering one of these properties, what you experience?
Sure. I actually have permission to share this one. So
Okay.
there's a retired couple. They live in a farmhouse that was built probably in the late 1800s. And so the basement is thick limestone walls in the basement. And they have cats one of the cats was afraid to go downstairs to use the litter box. And so they were having problems with this cat not using the litter box because it was afraid to go downstairs. So they called me in to find out what was going on, and there was a corner in that basement where there used to be a cistern. And in the old farmhouses, I don't know if they call them the same thing where you live, but it was a place in the basement that was walled off where they caught rainwater to use in the house.
Yeah.
And so they took down the walls of the cistern, but there was still that energy. There was still a portal in there that beings were coming through, and a lot of these beings weren't even needing to come through. They would come through, and then they would look around like, where am I? How did I get here? I don't want to be here. But because the spirits coming in felt kind of afraid and panicky, so was the cat feeling afraid and panicky.
Yeah.
So, because the cat didn't understand why it was feeling what it was just feeling it. So I was able to, with the help of my guides, move that portal out of the house and off the property, kind of more into the woods where they could come and go freely as they chose to.
Wow, that is incredible. And it's interesting as well how animals are the first responders. They pick up on it, don't they?
Yes.
And it's nice that the actual owners were actually taking note and observing their pet as well. And so that's wonderful. And the fact that you removed you took that portal away from the home there and put it in more hallowed ground, showing that respect to the energy itself and the beings that were coming through. That's a beautiful thing that you did there, Kristina. Great work.
Oh, I give all of that credit to my spirit guides. It wouldn't even have occurred to me to do that without them telling me to, or helping me do it.
Yeah. That's
not something that I would have even thought of.
Again, you're probably like me. If your spirit guides were to tell you everything, you'd say, no, I'm not doing that. I won't be doing that, thank you. And they'll say you are, and you'll have this like contradictory argument with them for about an hour. So it's a good job that
yes, sir.
that they do that. So we're coming up to the end. I can't believe how quick this has gone this evening. So,
I know, right?
Kristina, as ever, I'd like you to share how people can book a session with you, maybe attend your development class, and how they can connect with you.
Excellent. Actually, my website has just been completely revamped. I'm very excited about it. On the homepage. Oh, by the way, the website is KristinaBloom.com. Kristina with a K, Bloom with 2 O's. KristinaBloom.com. And at the end of the homepage is a contact form that you can fill out to create an appointment with me. There's also an event tab that has my calendar on it that shows where I'm going to be and when. My classes, the events that I go to, the events that I sponsor, all of that is in that calendar as far as it's scheduled. And right now we're scheduling into May. So I have lots of events coming up. The next online event is an upgrade DNA class activation. It's an activation class for the upgraded DNA that we're receiving through the ascension energies that are coming in.
Wow, that sounds incredible. Please let me know more about that. I'd love to be one of your guinea pigs in attendance to that. That sounds incredible. Well, as ever, Kristina, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've really enjoyed this deep dive conversation with you on this episode, and I'm sure we're going to come up with something even more tremendously weird and wonderful for next month's episode. So you
absolutely. And for anyone who's listening, if there's something you want us to talk about, let us know.
Yeah, exactly. We're open to that, aren't we? Definitely. Anyway,
weirder the better.
You have a wonderful month, and I will catch up with you very soon. Take care, Kristina.
Excellent.
God bless.
Thank you, you too, Glenn. Have a great day.
Well, as ever, always fantastic to connect and communicate with Kristina Bloom. They're the co-host, and I always enjoy our deep dive conversations every month. And like Kristina quite rightly said there at the end, if anybody does have anything that they would like us to delve deep into and discuss between the two of us, then please do get in touch. We'll be more than happy to dive deep for you on your behalf. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next section of the show, which is this week's channeling from the world of spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to bring their communications and wisdom through. And I want to say no greater time is it as the time now that we all need that inspiration, that little push in the right direction, that little helping hand from the world of spirit. So I feel very honored and blessed that spirit allow me to do this in order to blend with their frequencies and bring forward their communications. I do feel very honored in the fact that they allow me to do that. And as you know, this is a part of the show that I absolutely adore because, like you, I too am a student and I am learning life as I flow through it. And it's really nice to hear this wisdom as I can bring it into my own personal life as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's channeling from the world of spirit.
There's no greater currency than trust, and you in your human form will find this particularly interesting topic because of the amount of unspoken bond that has to be yielded and has to be expelled in order to experience the word of trust in your current reality. Now, a lot of you like to be organized and you like to have your life pigeonholed in many, many boxes. And you must understand this is admirable in many ways, but in other ways it is actually causing you distress, disharmony, and it's also pulling you out of alignment in your day-to-day living, simply because you have a lack of trust in your vocabulary, in your life, and therefore you have to create these little pigeonhole boxes in order to make your life have more meaning, have more understanding, and that you have more control over what you are experiencing. So trust is the invisible bond, and one that is built up over a course of time. And also trust is an energy, it's a frequency, it's an understanding. And behind that vibration, there is a level of letting go and not having these needs or desires to pigeonhole various scenarios in your life, people, experiences, maybe work or projects that you're working on. There's no need for that. Instead, with the vibration of trust, you have no fear. You have the complete vibration of love and synchronicity all lined up into your experience. And therefore you just spend one moment moving from one moment to the next moment in the knowledge that all is well and all is serving you and all is working for your highest good and the highest good of others. When you attain this level of security in your emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual body, then your lives will flow seamlessly to higher timelines. You will experience a life that you've never imagined before, that you've never given yourself permission to experience before. As you will flow in and out of opportunities, new opportunities will be created as a reference of you letting go and having that trust, and know that, as we say, everything is working out for your highest good. Everything is working for you, not against you. And when you get that into your psychology, then this will help you tread that pathway of trust, of love, of light, of happiness, and of that expansion. There's a lot of you that are living your lives very limited at the moment because you haven't got this level of trust that we speak of. You have a desire to have it in your life, and you have a basic understanding of the concept of trust. However, if we were to break it down and look at its core state, you've either got the choice of love or fear, and most of you haven't got the balance right. Yes, we understand that there is a need for contrast in your life in order to help you to flow and have a more balanced decision, so that you can flow and maybe choose life as it suits and aligns with you in each and every one moment in time. But coming from that vibration of love will put you in that flow state vibration of trust that we speak of. It is considered a daily practice that you should do something that will stretch your love and trust muscles on a daily basis. This could be down to the fact that you're not organizing too much ahead of time. This could also be an example of you taking people on their word and trusting that experience. But nevertheless, trust is something, is a muscle that you must build on a daily basis. You will notice upon doing this, your lives will flourish in ways that you have never imagined before. So, we hope this has given you some words of wisdom and of understanding of what is happening in your lives at this present moment in time. Everything, and we'll underscore this, everything is happening for you, not against you. So once you understand that, your life will flow seamlessly and opportunities will flow to you. Opportunities such as your love and romantic life, your home and family life, the financial stability and security that you crave in order to obtain and to express your divine right of freedom so that you can travel, so that you can experience things wide and far. All of these things come into play and alignment when you follow that internal compass, the wisdom that is shining and emanating from your heart chakra. You've all got it. Nobody is the exception. You all have the tools within you, and you've just been pulled out of alignment by the restraints of societal beliefs. Also, your leaders, your society, the way that it's been constructed is to make you feel small and insignificant, to the point where you forget about this internal compass and these beautiful tools of light that you all came down here with. When you re-educate yourself and remove a lot of these subconscious belief systems that have plagued you ever since you were a young child, when you let them go and don't grieve them, let them go and move into joy and happiness. Speaking of joy and happiness, this is something that you're all here to experience. If you only moved out of your own way and allowed yourself to experience the blessings in every moment within your life, when you start looking at your lives differently and you start to look from a sense of wonder. Everything becomes a miracle right before your very eyes. We give you the example of waking up in the morning, pulling back the curtains and seeing the sun cascading onto the floor outside. What a beautiful experience this is. Particularly, most of you experience this feeling connected to this, more so in the summer months, as it brings you joy, brings you happiness. We say, why wait till summer? Why not wait? And why not experience it now? It's here now. The fact that the light shines upon every morning, and every morning is a clean slate in order for you to experience your greatest expansion in that one moment in time. And we say for you to start and witness these blessings. The fact that you can get up in the morning and go and have some breakfast. The fact that you can go and explore, and you can drive. You can go and see different locations. You have your family looking up to you, hanging on every word that you speak. What a beautiful blessing that is. And when you look at life and observe life from this perspective, then it will expand beyond measure, beyond anything that you've encountered before. It's only when you take things for granted that you become stagnant in your vibration. You become uninfluenced. You become uninspired by the experience. You see, when you look at life through the eyes of wonder, then that will also connect you to higher frequency vibrations. So you'll continually go out through your day experiencing and witnessing different pieces of wonder within your day. You may observe hearing a conversation on your travels from other people, and those conversations that are had are containing the very thoughts that are in your mind. This is a form of synchronicity, a form of expansion that you'll all encounter once you get into this frequency. So we wish to explain to you, do not take things for granted. See the joy in every moment, and life will unfold for you in miraculous and magical ways. We've said it earlier that opportunities will find you when you align with the frequency and you get yourself into the vibration of love and wonder and have that level of trust whilst you're doing this. So we hope this has given you something to consider and maybe think about during your day-to-day living. We thank you for listening, and we send you our love and blessings and healing. Now I'm going to pass you on to another communicator who wishes to share a little bit more wisdom with you.
It's about time that you all started to love yourselves more. Never mind looking over your shoulder and seeing what your neighbour's doing. Never mind comparing yourself to people that you would place on a pedestal with a higher esteem. We're talking about rolling this respect back and projecting it on yourself inwardly. Having a set of moral codes and boundaries around yourself will also place you in this high vibrational sense of love. Because when somebody pushes your buttons and they're trying to get a reaction out of you, a lower based frequency reaction out of you, when it's not in your vibration, then you will not tolerate that level of behavior. So you'll set boundaries and you'll move away from those people that trigger or place you in those circumstances. And so you see, by showing this level of love and respect for yourself will also connect you to newer, greater timelines of your own choosing, may I add. Because you've all got free will and you've all got that choice in any one given moment. A lot of the time in society, you're cajoled or influenced by, shall we say, social media or other forms of influential material that's going to influence your level of being, that's going to influence your choice of free will, and it will negate your thoughts and your actions, and it will place you on a lower timeline vibrational frequency. we're telling you it's now time to take responsibility for the self and go within the art, and you'll know what feels right, and you'll have beautiful people and experiences coming to you as a result of you knowing who you are and following and trusting, going back to what the other communicator said, trusting who you are, following that line of inquiry of what feels great. That vibration of love, it feels great when you're in alignment with it, don't it? Everything has a magnetic pull to it. There's a sparkle, a twinkle upon everything that you look at when you're coming from this vibration. So that was my little bit of a inspiration, shall we call it that, for you today. So thank you for listening. I'm going to leave you now. In fact, we're all going to leave you to ponder on what we've said. And we would like to witness you all incorporating what we've spoken about today into each and every one of your lives, so that you can live a more fruitful life that is in alignment with your soul path. And when you come into alignment, by golly, you'll know about it. Every day will feel like sunshine to you. Anyway, I'm off. See thee later.
Fantastic communication as ever from the world of spirit, and some sound advice that came through today, definitely. Learning about trust, and that trust is a frequency that we can align with. And by having that level of trust, it will help us actually connect in with the universe, because the universe sees the greater picture and has our best interest at heart. Also, something that we all need to hear every now and again: step out of your own way. Now, we're all, I would say, responsible for our own vibrations, and we're all guilty of placing things in our way to stop our life flowing. So that was wonderful to hear that reminder. And obviously also the reminder of everything is serving us. It's for our highest good as we allow and flow with the vibration and energy of trust, and move into higher timelines by doing that. And it's something that we all aspire to do in life, isn't it? But one way or another, we find that our own either psychology, our own history, the blocks that we place in front of ourselves is stopping us moving to that highest timeline. So again, it's something to think about and reconsider in our approach in life, isn't it, there as well? And also to test our trust and love muscles daily. Now, that's a wonderful exercise, isn't it, in itself? Learning to love and trust a little bit more incrementally will build up those love and trust muscles so that we can then flourish and thrive in life a lot more easier there. And also there, it was nice to hear the other communicator talking about love yourself more and show yourself a lot more respect. Stop judging and comparing yourself to others. That will lower your vibration, stop you flourishing there. And don't be triggered by other people or experiences. Simply connect to your highest good, and all shall be well. So that was wonderful hearing all of that information from Spirit as ever. So next we're going to move into this week's energy forecast reading, which will hopefully help you navigate your way through the twists and turns of this week ahead. So if you want to take notes for your own benefit there, please feel free to do so. Sit back and enjoy this week's forecast reading. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I am a spiritual medium, and welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for the week commencing Monday the 26th of February 2024. Now, those of you that watched me work before will know that I connect with my spirit team and helpers, and also consult the wisdom of the angel tarot card. So I'm just about to shuffle a pack and allow a card to come out for this week's energy forecast reading. Okay, so this is your card for this week's energy forecast reading. I'm now going to link into the vibration of that. First of all, I'm being told that this week will see you actually voicing your opinions more rather than hiding in the shadows and remaining quiet, remaining a silent partner. Also, I'm being told that you'll feel slightly conflicted with the old version of you and the present moment version of you that you are now observing. And what I mean by this is that you're going to be more accepting about what is, and you're going to be more accepting of your pathway, how it's unfolding, rather than resisting these changes, rather than trying to push your own agenda or narrative in front of yourself. I feel as though you're just going to be more open to these changes coming in. And you'll notice a dramatic contrast of how you used to be and how you are behaving in this present moment consciousness. And to many of you, it will freak you out slightly because the contrast will be so vast and wide that you'll just notice this change within your life there. I'm also being told, watch out for your left ear, as you'll have a tendency this week for your left ear to be ringing or having a pulsating feeling in it. Now, this is nothing to concern yourself medically about. I just feel as though it's energy aligning with you. You're receiving spiritual downloads and upgrades, again, helping you to move on this new pathway, this new course in your life. Now, what this looks like for you is that you're not going to resist change, as we've already said. You're also going to put yourself forward by making yourself available and telling people actually who you are as a person and what you do. And by doing this, there'll be more interest and interaction with you. This week, however, will also see you eating certain foods, and they'll taste absolutely disgusting to you. Now, at one time, these foods would have been brilliant. You would have loved these foods. But now I feel as though there's this change in your vibration where you can't tolerate these foods anymore. And so you'll be a little bit disappointed because you used to enjoy them. But obviously, this is a change in your vibration. This week also, watch out for, I would say it's like an electrical, nervous sort of energy in the central part of your spine. Again, I don't feel as though this is anything to concern yourself because it's not medical. It is energetic, and I feel as though it's old versions of yourself, old energy that's lay dormant within you, being extracted from you. And also, I'm being told that Spirit will be working with you, and they will be nurturing that energy out of you, almost milking it out of you in order to help you flourish on this new pathway and this new timeline. Watch out also for your heart chakra opening up. And I feel as though you're going to allow yourself to be more vulnerable this week by letting people in, letting people know the true version of yourself, who you are, your likes, your dislikes, your characteristics, your quirks. Whereas at one time you kept a guard over these. I feel this week you're going to express yourself a little bit more. And in turn, I feel as though it's going to open your heart up. You're going to feel more compassionate, not only to yourself, but to others around you there as well. Also, watch out for yourself feeling slightly emotional towards Thursday of this week, as I feel as though this will just be the old frustrations coming to the surface. Just allow them to flow, allow them to be released. Everything's going to work out beautifully for you this week. So let's turn over the card for you. Okay, at the top of the card, it reads 5 of Air. So I'd like you to research the angel number of number 5, as I feel that that will offer you some additional support and information at this moment in time. Also, they reminded me of that film called Short Circuit, and one of the characters, the robot, was called Johnny 5 as well. So it's Johnny 5 is alive. That was his catchphrase. So with that being said, I feel that is a message for you to tell you to live for each and every moment this week as well, and just embrace life with both hands. Now, air to me represents, I feel it's the thinning of the veil between the physical realm and also the spiritual realm. And I feel as though you will be having more of an interaction with the world of spirit, whether you realize it or not, because I feel as though spirit's going to be influencing you. And initially you'll think that it's your idea and you'll run with it. The inspiration's your idea, but actually it's not. It's spirit finding it a lot easier to bring forward these blessings into your life there. So again, trust and go with the flow. Reading the inscription at the bottom reads mistakes, melodrama, and resentment. With that being said, I feel as though this is you looking and reflecting back on your past mistakes that you've made in your life, and also the drama that you've allowed yourself to be embroidered in. This week, with that contrast in mind, is going to help you to make more positive, life-affirming choices so that you don't walk and tread that pathway ever again. And it will be a blessing, a turning point in your life once you realize that you've had the power all along. Resentment, I feel as though this is you resenting how you used to be. And again, you're going to do a lot of inner work this week. So don't be hard on yourself. Just allow that energy to filter through you and just allow your present moment consciousness to guide and lead you forward in this new timeline that you're treading and walking. Looking into the artwork, we've got this beautiful colour of blue around the edging. To me, that represents several things. The first thing being emotions. Emotions, deep-seated emotions coming to the surface. We already mentioned around Thursday of this week, you'll find yourself feeling an element of sadness, letting some of these old versions of yourself go there. Almost feeling sorry for that old version of yourself. Now just allow yourself to go through this transitional process as it is for your betterment. Also, blue indicates going with the flow. Stop resisting changes, stop resisting life, and just flow more. And it also indicates speaking up as well, the throat chakra. So if you find that words are on the tip of your tongue this week and you're playing in your mind and you're thinking, shall I say that, shan't I say that? This is an indication. Just let those communications flow through you. You will feel the benefit of doing that. So looking into the artwork of the card, what draws my attention first of all is this chessboard, these black and white squares there. To me, that's all about balance, balance in your life, getting the balance right as well. And it's also, I'm being shown the checkered flag, like the finish line on a racetrack as well. So that would indicate you're coming to an end of a cycle, moving into a new phase in your life there. And with these chess pieces in the center there being toppled over, I'm being told you're not going to play that game anymore, that old version of yourself. You're not going to rise to the bait anymore. You're going to stand in your own power. Now, this divine feminine there is sat in the chair there. The feminine energy is talking about your sensitivity. The fact that she's turning her head and looking the other way is suggesting that actually, rather than facing up to your inner healing and your own responsibilities, there will be that natural sort of feeling to ignore them. But I feel the message behind this is not to ignore them in this moment in time. Instead, allow yourself to go through these healings, and that way you can move with ease and grace throughout your life. Also, the fact that she's sat there with her arms crossed there is telling you, I feel as though don't hold yourself back. You know, allow people to get to know you. Open your heart there as well this week, and you'll be guided by the angelic realm. Wait patiently. Beautiful things are coming in for you, and inspiration is going to strike this week. So that's what I picked up for you for this week's energy forecast reading. Thank you for hearting, liking, commenting and sharing. If you've enjoyed this reading, you would like to help and support the work that I do, I have got a buy me a coffee link above or below this video, which is a virtual tip jar. So all of your generous donations will be gratefully received and used in accordance with the spiritual work that I do to help others raise and ascend their vibration. If you would like any of my services, go over to my website, www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium. Join me every Monday, 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, with my radio show From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, talking about all things spiritual, paranormal, and self-help. Have a blessed week, everybody. Bye for now.
It sounds like we're all set for a very interesting, incredible deep dive of a week there, releasing some of the old versions of ourselves to make space for the new there, which is always exciting in itself, isn't it? So I hope that aligns with you all and helps you. If you do have any show suggestions, any ideas, or if you'd like to contact the show, please get in touch by going over to my website, www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can email me at glennboddice@live.co.uk. As ever, it'd be fantastic to hear from you and get some interaction going with you. Join me the same place, same time, 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on www.pulsetalkradio.com with this very show, From Beyond with Glenn Boddice. Have a fantastic week, everybody. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to From Beyond. For more information about what products and services Glenn provides, go to Glenn Boddice, spiritualmedium.com.